Slava Isusu Christu. Glory to Jesus Christ. The great fast is upon us. It is a time to take a look at the true you. This is one of the hardest things for any of us to do. The church has developed themes to help us to reflect on our shortcomings and how to be more like Christ. The Bible teaches that man was created in the image and likeness of God. Do others see Christ in us? Today in our church, we commemorate the restoration of icons. Our church is adorned with icons to honor Christ and the saints. Some of our churches have every inch of the walls covered in icons. Other churches have some icons. In our church, we have a beautiful iconostas as our focal point. And as a child, I remember coming here for many of the services back in the early 70s. With Father Myron, he would host deanery meetings. And I was able to serve at this altar about twice when I was a small child. And I always liked to stand by Our Lady here. She was just an inspiration to me, watching her. I always wanted to stand here. And twice I got to do that, so I was very happy. And icons are very special to me, and I hope they're special to you. There's just something that draws me to an icon. Even to this day, this icon is very special to me. I have many icons in my possession. They take me to another place. Some in our church call them windows to heaven. Long before the computer age, our church had icon screens and icons. Icon means, in Greek, image. Icons of Christ and saints depict the reality of the incarnation, because Christ, the Son of God, became man. He can be imaged. The Bible teaches that man was created in the image and likeness of God. Men and women reflect the divine image of their ability to reason and choose freely. Through Christ, the image of God is renewed and transformed by the grace of the Holy Spirit. Our church honors or venerates icons, but we never worship them. For worship is due to the Trinity alone. The honor given to an icon passes on to the one represented in the icon as a means of thanksgiving for what God has done in that person's life. Others will say that we worship idols. They will tell you that we are breaking the first commandment. I am the Lord your God. You shall not have strange gods before me. Venerating an icon does not break the first commandment. To break the first commandment, we need to worship an idol. An idol is a statue or another image of a false god, such as the golden calf that was in the story of Moses. Anything that is worshipped in the place of the one true God is an idol. In today's world, it is easy to have idols that take our attention away from God. Money, possessions, fame, video games, cell phones, even family members can become idols if we put them ahead of Christ our God. This Lent, we need to put the idols of this world to less of a priority and make Christ our priority. In the young church, many question the use of images for worship. There were times when the many holy images were destroyed. Even today, many Christian sects do not have religious images except for a cross. Many of these people would question and wonder about the beautiful images we have here in our church. Today, we mark the accepting of sacred images by the Holy Church. In our church, we have icons. Icons are two-dimensional paintings done in a highly stylized method that has taken many years to develop. Icons are an interesting form of expression. As I've said, they're two-dimensional. The faces do not show emotion. They are painted, or properly called, written, on gold-covered wood with paint made from an egg-based tempera paint. If you're ever questioned by anyone about the sacred images in our church or in your home, remember, the Christians of the first century worshipped in the catacombs. When one enters the catacombs, and I saw this firsthand when I went to Rome, you can see many images of Christ painted on the walls. The church fathers thought it important to give us teachings on these images. Then we use them in worship. The Bible talks against graven images. The church fathers explain that icons are not graven images. They tell us that we have images of Christ in the saints because they walked on the earth and were part of us. We can have images of Christ because we are made in the image of God. Man being made in the image of God is something deep to ponder. We are made in his image. Because of this, we can see Christ in many people. Christ tells us what we do for others, we do to him. This Lent, I take on this challenge, and I give you a challenge to reflect on. Do our actions represent Christ? Would Christ do or say the things that you or I do? Do others see Christ in us? Are we the living icon of Christ? Others should see Christ in us. They should feel close to us. They should say that this person's special. I want what he has. I want to be like her. As we journey through the 2019 fast to prepare ourselves for the celebration of the resurrection, let us put on Christ as we are asked to do as his followers. We look at the icons of Christ in the saints. They help us to be closer to Christ. In our homes, we have pictures of our loved ones. The pictures help us feel closer to them. We all should have pictures of Christ and the saints in our homes. They will help us feel closer to God. As Christians, we are to bring ourselves closer to God. Father Andres stated over and over about submitting to God and letting his will be done. If we give ourselves to Christ and put on Christ, we will be true followers of Christ. As true followers of Christ, we can let others see him in us, and we will be the living icons bringing Christ to others. Slava Isusu Christu. Glory to Jesus Christ.